So it's Wednesday, 26th of March 2014, quite a significant day because this is when Bitwig finally comes out. And I received it last night and I was basically playing around with it, just getting a vibe on it. So this video is going to be literally just me playing back some of the elements that I created entirely with the Bitwig, basically the instruments and the effects that you get with it. No third-party stuff. And I just wanted to see how it would be if I could dive into it without reading the manual, see how far I could get. And this tune is the end result. You know, the thing is if you're coming from Ableton, a lot of this is going to feel familiar. The one thing that I will say is that the key commands are largely different. So there's going to be a little transitional kind of time if you're used to those key commands. There are a number of things that are similar in terms of the way that this kind of session view is viewed, and you've got the clips, you know, so you can trigger stuff on the fly, record them into an arrangement. That's actually tab, so that's the same thing, so that's great. There's a really interesting vibe with this. I mean, you don't know from my tutorials that I'm into a dark kind of color scheme and into my grays and my oranges, so immediately I'm feeling at home here. So it may not mean a lot to some of you lot, but for me that's a pretty big thing. So anyway, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just show you a couple of things here. You've got the tracks and you've got the devices down below. This is very similar to the drum rack in Ableton. This is called the drum machine. This works in a really interesting way. At the moment, what we've got is, just going to double click on these. These are drum synth elements. So this is basically an analog style kick drum. Here is a clap. Let me just click on that again. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this. There we go. So it's got a noise and it's got like a kind of number of repeats to create the actual clap sound. Here's a reverb. One of the things I'm really enjoying about it is actually the reverb. There's a real texture, a real vibe to the reverb that I'm really enjoying. So tom and hi-hat generation engines. If you're used to Machine, you know, the new drum synth, it's a very similar vibe. So what's great about this is you can slot these in really easily. So on these drum cells, you click on the plus and you bring this up and you can choose. So I could add, for example, the electronic snare. It creates the output up here on the mixer, and we've got the snare itself over here as well. So it's great. There we go. So it's like a 808 kind of style snare, so a couple of oscillators and noise filtering, so there's a lot of scope. If you ever want to check out the presets, you click on this button here, opens up this section, and you can basically go through these and they're filtered by categories, so that's cool. You want to add something else to it, click on the plus. So it goes left to right in terms of the signal path. So this is like the source sound. That's like a container for holding multiple devices, and then after this you can put whatever it is you're going to add an insert. There is of course the send and return, and so I've got here two sends. The returns are over here, and you know, I'll tell you what, I'll just play some stuff so you get a vibe for it. I'll click the first scene, and the instruments that I'm using, this is the polysynth. So this comes with this is one of the devices in Bitwig, the polysynth again, an organ, another synth, and so the EQ on there, a high pads, acoustic piano, which is one of the sampler instruments. This is being driven by the arpeggiator, and then the FM instrument here for some effects. On the master, I've got a couple of bits and pieces. I was playing around with the compressor, just getting a vibe on it, and this is one of two compressors that I've found. The other one's called Dynamics. The difference between the two is that I can't find a sidechain compression on this one, whereas I can with the Dynamics over here. This filter, I love the sound of this filter, ladder filter. If you're used to Moog synthesizers, they have a ladder filter, has a particular characteristic that I think sounds wicked. So let's come back up. Let's trigger the first scene. So this is literally me just playing around with it last night. I wasn't allowed to do any videos or upload them for yesterday. So I just made the track idea last night, and I thought I'd get the video out of the way this morning, get it up, and see what people think. This is not a tutorial. I'm not going to really explain that much about it, because actually, realistically, I don't know that much about it. Literally, this is me diving in without looking at the manual and seeing what I could come up with. So here we go. One of the great things about this is the flexibility of the interface. You see the icons over here, so I can go through some different views here, different aspects that you can bring in and out. There are also some controls down here to flip between different modes. See what I mean about that reverb? There's a real magic to that sound, you know. Actually, thinking about it, I will use this for this dynamics thing. So this is literally another compressor, and we can do a sidechain here. So what I want to do is do the drum machine. And what we need to do is really, because I'm just running through the whole drum machine here, I'm going to condense that down, by the way. So that's all the drum sounds. What I want to do is actually compress based on really just the kick. So you've got a section here you can use, and you can EQ the sidechain so that we could take away the mids and the highs and just make that the bass sound. So I'm going to click on the plus here. I'm going to go for an EQ2, roll off the basically the highs. So we're left with just the kick, and I need to set this. Let me just get the 2 playing. Bring that threshold down, take the ratio up. Let's adjust the attack faster. Can you see here that the compressor gain reduction is acting on the frequency so they can hear post EQ? So that's reacting on the kick, and maybe a little bit of that tom on there as well. Let's increase this lot. Let's bring the gain up. This has got that pulsing on there, which is nice. Whilst I'm in this section here, this editor, the MIDI editor, I tell you what I really like about it. The quantize basically here. Quite a lot of the time with the programming here, I was using a very interesting shuffle. This feels quite heavy, you know, even though 38.5% doesn't feel that much, but there's a really interesting texture here. I'll need to do some analysis at some point and work out about the grid. But all I'm feeling at the moment is I really like the shuffle. There's something that I feel is really cool about it. Maybe I'm just being fooled. Let me think of an element that's got something like this. There we go. So look at the timing over here. That's the 30 odd percent, the movement. There's something real cool about it. I like it. So just show you. It's just that timing. It's kind of later than I would have anticipated for that value, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I just like it. It sounds good. And let's take this off. You know, these sounds, these are presets that have just been loaded into the instruments, you know. So this is one here called Antonio. The bass was a preset called Bass 2, but I did adjust the mix on there and took away some of the modulation. There was some unison on there. So I took the unison off and just wanted to make the bass a little bit more simplistic. Let's go on to the next section. So there's a pad, another stock instrument, polysynth, and this is a preset called the light pad. Oh yeah, let me show you the filter. So this has got that ladder characteristic. But of course on the old classic Moog, I was going to say Moog again there, you're supposed to say Moog. But on the old classic Moog filters, it always used to be low pass. So we got a high pass here, which is nice. Just going to do it again. Can't help it. So I need to map my hardware controllers to this too. Haven't done that yet. And I just missed my cue for the next scene. Typical. So we got ourselves the acoustic piano. This is a preset. And by the way, the whole process of loading up sounds was really elegant. It's basically happening online. So similar to what happens with Logic, you get the sound library, you download it from a big list. And basically you get a whole bunch of stuff over here in this browser. So you can see these packages. So that's what I downloaded. So basically this acoustic piano was part of that package. And this, by the way, is running through a send effect over here. This is the delay to. This has got a really nice texture to it as well, as you can hear. So on the master here, let me just take these off and you can get a feel for how it's sounding beforehand. So once again, I haven't had a chance to have this on speakers, so I can't guarantee the mix down is brilliant, but it's sounding good in these little headphones. There's something about this I'm really enjoying. For the first time, the fact that I managed to get so far without having to read the manual is fantastic. A lot of this is very intuitive. It feels comfortable. It feels like I've been here before. So that makes sense because of the team. I believe that they were involved in Ableton in the past in some way. So that may be right, that may be wrong. That's the kind of stuff that's going around in terms of talk on the web and stuff. So we'll see what comes back. But this is really nice. As a first iteration of a new DAW, I think it's fantastic. And there is something about the sound quality. There's some kind of warmth here, which I'm really pleased to hear. So the audio engine sounds incredibly strong, really rich and rounded. That's my first impressions. Anyway, so look, I will be diving into this properly. I've got to learn a whole bunch of stuff. So, this is really literally just a first look, and it's rather early in the morning as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, as usual, just stick them into the comments. Big thanks to the Bitwig team. I think you've done a great job. And I really, really enjoyed working with this last night.